Hi, I'm Sherrita C W Delacruz, and this is the Figures of Speech Talkcast, powered by Blast Media Networks, Esoterica Entertainment, and you. This week, we're going to be talking about financial abuse. We're doing a topic of domestic abuse every month for the month of July. And last week, we did emotional and mental abuse. This week, we're doing financial abuse. Financial abuse is something that people don't really talk about, but it happens more often than not. 1/3 of women and 1/4 of men have experienced financial abuse. The age range is 15 to 49 or even older. A lot of times people would think that it's just completely related to domestic violence. And that is one of the ways or the cornerstones that an abuser can get their, we call them sufferers, into a position where they're in control. 98% of the time that is the case when it comes to financial abuse. But let's just talk about some of the characteristics initially, generally, about financial abuse. Controlling or preventive behavior, not allowing the sufferer to access funds, withholding funds the sufferer has earned themselves, coercing the sufferer to give them money that does not belong to them. There's actually 28 measures that are broad spectrum when it comes to financial abuse. One of them is called economic control. The other one is called economic exploit. Economic control is threatening the sufferer to not let them go to work. Threatening the sufferer to take their keys so they can't go to work or go to job interviews, taking their check like I mentioned before, just impeding their progress, not allowing them to go about their everyday life and enjoy and do the things that they need to do as a, well-rounded individual. This can extend into like elder abuse, where someone might have access to a sufferer's funds or property, and the abuser just takes control of the situation and not let that individual have control of their life in that aspect. Another aspect of economic abuse is economic exploitation. Stealing your property, pawning your property. The sufferer might have a loan in their name, in the abuser's name, and the abuser does not let the sufferer pay that loan back. Just totally taking control of the situation, paying bills late in the sufferer's name as a means of control. Gambling with the sufferer's money, and the sufferer knows that they've earned this money, but the abuser takes this money. There's also more slight opportunities that abusers might take in order to get a sufferer under their control, like telling them, hey, I need this, you're going to help me out, or I need your car, can you help me out? And then refuse to give you your property back. How dare they? How dare they take something that doesn't belong to them because they want to control the individual? It's not fair, it's not right, and it's one of the most heinous ways to get control over someone, especially whenever that person needs those resources as a means to live. A lot of times people get into relationships and can't get out of them. because they are financially dependent on the abuser, even if it's their own money. They don't know how to get out of it. They don't know how to get away from the individual or break the cycle that the abuser has created to obtain control over their lives. Now, if you know anyone, or if you yourself are experiencing financial abuse, you can definitely reach out to the network to end domestic violence at nnedv.org. That's nnedv.org. Or you can also reach out to the National Domestic Violence Hotline at 1-800-799-SAFE. That's 1-800-799-SAFE. We'll talk more about more types of domestic violence next week. If you or anyone you know that's experiencing financial abuse, please direct them to this website or to this hotline so they can get some assistance with their situation. A lot of times you're not going to be able to personally get the person to understand that they're in danger or that their lifestyle is not right, because the abuser has obtained so much control over their situation that they're just not going to believe you. But if they're faced with some facts or can hear a third party or someone who's not affiliated or related to the situation, they might listen. A lot of times it takes a lot of effort on family members and loved ones' part to get the sufferer to understand that they're in a detrimental situation, especially if they're already being abused in other areas like sexual or physical violence. Like we mentioned last week, the sufferer's most likely onset domestic violence, or get into those situations when the abusers are utilizing emotional and mental abuse to get them into a position of control, and then it just trickles down. Please help your loved one. Reach out to the Domestic Violence Hotline or to the National Network to End Domestic Violence. Next week, we'll be talking about physical abuse and the dangers of it on the Figures of Speech Talkcast.